Hey guys, first video I've actually put up here in quite a while. I think I had a film channel not long ago, but as you can see by my Sunderland top, obviously I'm a big Sunderland fan. Don't know why, but I am. Sunderland today obviously got a 2-2 draw with West Ham, although we should have been in a position to get our first league win. I've got to the point now where I'm just thinking, what have we got to do to win a game? We just, I could go on about, the referee was absolutely rubbish, and to be fair, I didn't think Neil Swarbrick, I think that was the referee anyway. The referee, I don't think, had a good game today. I think a lot of things went in West Ham's favour. Having said that, I'm not going to criticise him for the two Jermaine Lens yellow cards, because I think both of them were yellow cards, to be fair. But really, when you're 2-0 up at home, and especially how poor West Ham were in the first half. In fact, no, not that they were poor, how good we were in the first half. We should have been 3-4-0 up at that point. Barini had an excellent chance outside the 6-yard area that he shoots wide, and I was in the upper gods. I wasn't too far away from the away fans. That was a good chance, and he should have buried it. But honestly, we scored two good goals. The first one was from a training ground move. I think it was in Villa from a free kick just outside their penalty area. Passes it into the box. Fletcher, rasping finish. And I've criticised Stephen Fletcher a lot, and I'm still not his biggest fan. I don't think he tries hard enough in a lot of games. But honestly, if he keeps doing that, then we might be tempted to give him a new deal. But then he'll probably go back to being rubbish again. But Jermaine Lens scores a good goal, and it was this was a defensive mistake from West Ham. I think they took us lightly a lot in the first half, to be honest, which is what I hoped they would do. But Lens cracking effort from outside around the edge of the penalty area, smashes it, goes over the goalkeeper, and goes in off the crossbar. It was a great goal. And at that point, 2-0 up, you're cruising. And literally, you could actually say that we were honestly cruising in that first half. People will just watch the West Ham comeback and think, oh, it's good from their point of view. And it is. I'm going to give West Ham credit for that, for getting back in the game. But at half time, when Jenkinson scored, I was worried, because that was the point where the tide was going to turn. Sunderland have not kept a clean sheet this season. And one of the big reasons they haven't kept a clean sheet this season, in my opinion, is because they've lacked the bottle to defend properly in big moments. Right before half-time at Old Trafford, first 10 minutes against Bournemouth. Heck, even first half an hour at Leicester, last 10 minutes against Spurs. The amount of times that lapses in concentration have cost us points has been ridiculous. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, when you're second bottom. And the only decent thing, by the way, about getting a point today was that Newcastle replaced us at the bottom of the table. That's the only decent thing about not winning today. But, we've lacked a big, people say we're looking at second bottom. Oh, well, you're not good enough. That's why you're in that position. Now, personally, I don't think it is. I don't think it is that. I do concede that some players we've got aren't good enough. Jordi Gomez, for example, is one of them. And I know I might use him as a scapegoat, but I don't think he's anywhere near good enough. Fletcher, same. Graham, bless him, tries his socks off, but he isn't good enough for the Premier League. Sebastian Coates was brought in as a squad player. He should be a squad player in my opinion. Although today he actually had a decent game, to be fair. I didn't complain when we got him for 2 million, but we should have really got for someone better defensively. And there's a number of other players. Will Buckley, he's gone out. Liam Bridcut, not good enough. Valentin Robert, somehow he's still at the club. Don't know how. But, so some of them aren't good enough. But there are a lot of players in that team that are good enough. Jermaine Lens, Yann Villa, Jermaine Defoe even, Yunus Kabul, Pantilimon. There's a good number of players in that, Catamol even. As much as people laugh at Catamol and say, oh, well, he gets sent off all the time. People saying Catamol for England. No, the reason Sunderland fans say Catamol for England, go and watch that first half today. He was absolutely sensational, and it further displays what I've been saying about Catamol to everyone I know a lot of the time. He's a leader, and even if he's not given the captain's armband, he drives everyone on the pitch to do their jobs, and he organises the team. That's it. Yes, he gets bookings and sending offs a few times. He's not had a good start of the season, but today in that first half, he displayed why I think he's a good midfielder. He's not a talented midfielder, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the grit and the fight, something that not a lot of the Sunderland players have, in my opinion, that we should have really. He has that in a lot of that in abundance. Um, but anyway, Catamol's one of them. The players I've mentioned, they are good enough. And if you ask me, the reason I'm feeling quite dejected at the moment is because it's not like last week at Man United, I was really depressed after that. Not because we lost against Man United. I expected to lose against Man United. Conceding at the wrong times is what I was annoyed about. But at the same time, if you look at the games, Leicester away, Norwich, especially being at home, Bournemouth away. Leicester's 50-50 because, they're not a great side. No disrespect to them, they're not a great side. They're a decent to good side at best, but they've got a couple of standout players. Mahrez is very good. Vardy's very quick, he's quite decent, but they've carried momentum as well from the Great Escape they did last year. I still don't think that's as good as Sunderland's, by the way, because even though that's still a Great Escape, they had 9 games left, and I think 6 of them were at home, and only one of them was a game that they really shouldn't be winning, which was Chelsea. Sunderland had 6 games, 3 less games, and we had to go to Old Trafford, the Etihad, and Stamford Bridge. Need I say more? Anyway, but Leicester's 50-50, so that one I can overlook, and it was the first game of the season, so anything can happen. Norwich. The fact that, they had to scrape through the playoffs last season to get into the Premier League. Now, to be fair to them, they've played well since they've come back up, but they haven't got anyone who's going to score them umpteen goals this season. And that, I think, unless they invest in January into a proper striker that will score enough goals for them, then they're going to get relegated. Or they're certainly going to be in a relegation battle for me. But the fact we let them outplay us that comfortably at the Stadium of Light, it wasn't the fact that Norwich were good. It's the fact that we were underperforming. We didn't put an effort in. Only player that day that put an effort in was Watmore when he came on. But honestly, it's the fact that we let Norwich outplay us. And that's what I mean. And even Bournemouth didn't survive the first 10 minutes. And before that game, I knew Bournemouth were going to come at us. So I'd love to know how on earth the players didn't know this. But at the same time, Bournemouth in the Championship last season and were tipped by a lot of people, including myself actually, to get relegated this season. Losing Wilson to injury, mind you, is a huge blow. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And I want Bournemouth to stay up. No disrespect to them. But they shouldn't be beating Sunderland. We should be going there and at least not losing. We should be beating Norwich at home as well. And this is what I mean. If Sunderland put in 100% effort, like we did today, because even in the second half we put a lot of effort into that. The only thing I criticised today was the defending for the 2 goals, where we should have done better for both of them for me. Having said that, though, if we put in 100% effort like we did today against Leicester, Norwich and Bournemouth, I guarantee you we'd have the first win on the board. Or certainly we wouldn't have lost all 3 of them. But to end the video, on to Dick Advocaat. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of journalistic rumours, and a lot of rumours generally on Twitter, for example. Is he going to leave? Is he not going to leave? He hasn't confirmed or denied the reports that he's going to go, which to me spells disaster. I think that spells that he's going to leave. And to be honest, I don't particularly want him to leave either, because he did. On the one hand, he did do well to keep us up last season. And I was asked by a family member if I would want Dick Advocaat at that point after the Arsenal game when we stayed up to go into this season, and I was 50-50. One on the plus side because he obviously kept us up to a point where we looked doomed for relegation, but on the other hand, no, because we've had a lot of cycles of managers. Manager comes in, beats Newcastle, stays up, gets sacked next season. Lather, rinse, repeat. It's the same formula, and I was thinking, is Advocaat going to keep that up? Obviously, if he leaves with my best wishes. I'm appreciating what he's done. I actually think we have brought in some quality players, certainly in an offensive sense, but defensively we've been left short. Johnny Evans, for example, I might be one of the only ones that rate him, but the fact he went to West Brom instead of Sunderland, we should never have allowed that to happen. He should have came to Sunderland, really. Or even a better defender, but you get what I mean. Who would I want to replace him if he did go? Michael Laudrup and Sam Allardyce are quite popular names. Now, Sam Allardyce doesn't play the best football, but West Ham fans, being brutally honest, other than a spell in 13-14 when you were threatened with relegation, you were never in danger of going down. That's what Sam Allardyce gives you. And I think if he gives that to us, I would complain. I wouldn't care if the football was boring and shite, if we just won games. And obviously Laudrup got Swansea playing decent football, but I'm wondering if he's not going to be the right manager for us in terms of how to set our team about. Another manager I would be in for, and the Daily Mail was reporting that Sean Dyche and Nigel Pearson were linked with the Sunderland job. Now, Daily Mail I don't take very seriously, But Sean Dyche I'd have, because there's a few reasons I'd have him. One, bearing in mind Burnley last season didn't have much money. I think he did very well to get a lot out of his players, and they only got relegated with 2 games of the season left to go. That's a good achievement from Burnley. You know, they got points against Manchester United. Chelsea went to Chelsea and drew, beat Manchester City, the champions from the previous season. You know, they did very well. Obviously got a draw against Spurs as well. You know, list goes on. That took 4 points off Man City now that I think about it. But Sean Dyche got a lot out of his players. And I think he would get a lot out of Sunderland's players, but we need this on a regular basis. And if we did get relegated, which is a possibility, then I think he's in a decent position to get us back up. I think a lot of people think he's a terrible appointment, whereas I don't think he would be. Not my first choice, granted. For me, it would either be Sam Allardyce or Landrup. David Moyes, even, if you could persuade him to somehow leave Real Sociedad, I'd have him. But anyway, look, last point I'll make. Next 2 games are basically relegation 6-pointers, I think, even this early in the season. West Brom away. If we'd won today and beaten West Brom, would have gone above them. That shows how much 2 points drop today was. If we go there and win, then we can go 2 points below them. And if we beat Newcastle, if we win the next 2 games, we'll look much better. But we need to win the next 2 games. Anyway, guys, look, that's just what I think. Obviously, leave a like and comment down below. See what you think. Do you think I'm talking a load of bollocks? But, you know, let's see what happens. Anyway, only positive. At least Newcastle got smashed and we're above them on goal difference. But doesn't really say very much when we're 5 points adrift of safety. Look, guys, drew 2-2. Good performance, but should have been a first win. And I'll see you all later.